You're wired in. SmallCapVoice.com. Following is a presentation of SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support. Now, with your online business briefing, SmallCapVoice.com's Stuart T. Smith.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us here today at SmallCapVoice.com. And as you just heard, I'm your host, Stuart Smith. And we're joined today by an exciting company, Digerati Technologies Incorporated. The company's traded under the ticker symbol DTGI, and we are joined by the Chief Executive Officer of Digerati, Art Smith. Art, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, Stuart. How are you?
I am doing very well here in hot and humid Austin, Texas, and you are not too far away from me down there in San Antonio. Hey, Art, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to speak to your shareholders and our listeners. But for those listeners who may not be familiar with what you're doing over there at Digerati Technologies Incorporated, if you would, describe the business model and market for us.
Sure. Digerati Technologies is a cloud communication service provider. We provide voice, video, and cloud telephony applications 100% in the cloud or over the Internet. And we provide these services primarily to enterprise customers. The best way to describe what we do is think of us as a Vonage on steroids for business applications. We're serving the small to medium-sized business market through value-added resellers that have an embedded small business relationship. What we do is we enable those value-added resellers, or VARs, to introduce new and innovative cloud communication solutions that give small businesses big business features while saving them money. So a little bit of background on the company, or what we've gone through here in the last 6 to 8 months. Over that period of time, we've undergone a transformation that has taken us from a low-margin, legacy, wholesale service provider to a high-margin, enterprise application service provider that includes global services on our worldwide voice-over Internet network. By the way, we built that network over the course of a decade. As you mentioned, we're based here in San Antonio, Texas, and we're publicly traded under the symbol DTGI. We do have a successful track record. We are a 3-time recipient of Deloitte's Fast 500 Award for the fastest-growing technology companies in North America. And in the previous industry wave, we listed the company on the American Stock Exchange and reached a $400 million market cap on that exchange, and we want to do that again.
Well, Art, thank you so much for your personal insight into that fascinating business model. You're our guest today, so let's learn about you as the Chief Executive Officer and other key members of the management team.
Well, our management team, Stuart, has over 50 years of combined management experience. I've been the CEO since the company's inception. I have 21 years in technology and international telecommunications experience, primarily in the area of telecommunications between the U.S. and Latin America. Antonio Estrada, who's our Senior VP of Finance and Corporate Controller, he's got actually nearly 12 years of experience, SEC experience, public accounting experience, and he also has been involved heavily in running international businesses down in Latin America. Ken Ryan, who's our Senior VP of Engineering, he's got 19 years of experience, and he's the architect behind our network infrastructure that's key to providing our cloud-based communication services. Ken's also the author on 3 VoIP patents, actually going back about a decade, and he's considered the inventor on one of those.
Well, sounds like a diversified and seasoned management team, no doubt. Let's talk about the achievements for the company so far here in 2012. We're just about halfway through, so let's talk about what the company's been able to achieve so far this year.
Well, one of our biggest achievements, Stuart, has been that we've been able to upgrade our core network infrastructure and our operational support systems to support our cloud communications business model. Basically, what we've done is we've gone back and retrofitted our network that we built over the course of a decade, starting back in the early 2000s. And we retrofitted that network to support the current service offering or product offering that we have. Again, we sell into the business market. We sell business applications primarily to the small and medium-sized business market. And in order to be able to provide the variety of services that our market's seeking and looking for, we needed to add some things to our platform and network to support that. We also launched our value-added reseller distribution model. When I refer to value-added resellers, I typically refer to them as VARs, V-A-R. And our VARs are really key to our growth strategy going forward. And we decided that strategically it made sense for us to sell our product through value-added resellers that have an existing relationship, an embedded relationship with that small to medium-sized business, whether it's in San Antonio, Austin, Houston, or New York. So over the last 6 months, we've been successful in securing VAR relationships, and we've already secured over 40 business accounts on our cloud-based network. We announced today some significant improvements to our financial results. We were able to significantly increase our cloud communications revenue, 82% quarter over quarter for the third quarter versus the second quarter, and we were also able to significantly improve profitability, 121% improvement in gross profit and 42% improvement in EBIT adjusted for non-cash items for that same period.
Well, listeners, if you'd like to follow along, that press release came out today, June 15th. Use that ticker symbol, DTGI. Congratulations on that, Art. Those are some tremendous improvements in the financial condition for the company, as well as in its revenue stream from the cloud communications revenues. So with all this achieved so far here in 2012, what are the goals for the company in the remainder of 2012?
Well, now that we've built this network foundation, and we've got the systems to support our growth, our key objective is to get to cash flow profitability. So we're going to continue growing our cloud communication services revenue, adding more of that high-margin revenue that comes from the small to medium-sized business. We're also going to continue with our building blocks. In some of our press releases earlier in the year, we've mentioned that we've accomplished several key building blocks as part of retrofitting and upgrading our network infrastructure. Well, we've got some other building blocks to execute on going forward. And what's key about these building blocks is, we need to put them in place in order to support the scalability of our cloud communication services. Specifically, this includes things like establishing a web-based portal for our VARs to facilitate their selling, marketing, and provisioning of business accounts. So when I talk about this VAR portal, this is something we've already actually, the architecture is there for our VAR portal. We want to commence development really soon, by the end of our fiscal year, which, by the way, is July 31st, and we'd like to get that completed within the next 4 to 6 months. The other thing you'll see us do, and it's really key going forward, is that we're going to continue enhancing our back office with tools that allow us to automate functions and keep our operational costs low. We've done a lot of that in the last 6 months. We implemented a new back office system for our rating and routing capabilities, but we have other tools that we can implement to further automate and, again, keep our costs low. I think what's really key is that we continue to capitalize on the current business opportunities in the cloud. Everybody hears about the cloud. It's getting a lot of exposure. It's becoming, the cloud is a real solution for business processes or even in a software that businesses need to operate. And so our objective is to continue building on the current momentum that we have, continue executing successfully, and build a solid, profitable business that gets us back to where we want to be in terms of a primary stock exchange and shareholder value.
Well, absolutely, and it really looks like the company is hitting its stride right now here in the year 2012. So much to offer. It's amazing to me what you've been able to do from a management side while keeping expenses down but still growing the business. Kudos to you and your team for that. Well, Art, I'm looking at your company. I'm looking at the financial results that are, again, announced today. Listeners, use that ticker symbol again, DTGI, and I'm left scratching my head. The company's been run just very well. Obviously, the results bear fruit to that truth. This is not an industry, as I look at your press wire and I look at the trunking certification and all the different things that you and your company need to be compliant with and register for and get up to speed on. This is not an industry where the competition can just come in and out, which we would call high barriers to entry. Talk to me, take a step back about the industry as a whole.
Well, the industry as a whole is going through a transformation. We're going from the traditional phone network that was built back in the early 1900s and that we've used for a very long time to the Internet. All of that communication traffic, whether it's from your mobile phone, whether it's from your home, whether it's from a business, it's, again, migrating from the old phone network to the Internet-based phone network or communication network. That's creating tremendous demand for services like ours. Now, one of the differentiators for us is the fact that we're able to provide some really solid international solutions for our customers. We built a global network over the last decade, and so that has become a real key asset for us. And it's been really important because it tremendously enhances our value proposition. When we come in with an international or global solution, along with a cloud-based application for that business, that again gives them big business features at a savings and reduces their costs, the value proposition is hard to ignore, right? So it would be very difficult for someone to recreate the global network that we've built over a decade. As you mentioned, there's a lot of certifications, there's a lot of infrastructure required to do this, and the fact that our team has the experience in doing this and has done it for so long, I think goes a long way in us being able to get this done in a relatively short period of time. So I think that, again, the key differentiator for us is the fact that we've got not only the applications in the cloud that we can offer to that small to medium-sized business, but we also can provide an end-to-end solution that includes the international needs of a customer or even the domestic needs here in the U.S. A true end-to-end solution is what we can provide.
Well, we're excited to be speaking to Digerati right now. Listeners, I'd like you to take a look at the 6-month chart on the stock as well. I think you'll see what I'm seeing. The stock right now is trading at its resistance level here at 2 cents. Had a good run in April and May. It's a good time to be taking a look at Digerati. Yet ticker symbol again, DTGI. Well, Art, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us here today at SmallCapVoice.com. Any closing thoughts or comments for the shareholders and listeners?
Stuart, I think what I'd like to point out in closing is that this is a company and a management team that's been there before. As I mentioned early on in the interview, we were able to take the company to the American Stock Exchange in the previous industry wave. We created significant value for our shareholders. Our market cap reached $400 million in value. And we believe now with the transformation of our industry, with the migration from the old phone network to the new internet-based phone network that's creating tremendous opportunities, this new wave that we're in is going to allow us to build a very successful business and to establish the kind of value, or create the kind of value we created in the past for our shareholders. So we like to think we're thinking like a startup, right? So this is an opportunity to get in with an established startup that's been around for some time and created value in the past for our shareholders, and we firmly believe and are confident we can create value for our shareholders going forward now.
Well, listeners, it's all going to happen only in the cloud, so take a good look at Digerati. Again, that ticker symbol DTGI. You can learn more about the company at their website, Digerati-Inc. That's INC.com. Digerati-Inc.com. Well, Art, once again, thank you so much for your time here today at SmallCapVoice.com. Exciting business model. Great time to be taking a look at the company with the tremendous financial results that were released today, June 15th. Go look at that press release. Art, thanks so much again.
Thank you, Stuart.
All right, for Art Smith, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for listening.
SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support, provides its clients with the highest level of service. Our audio interviews are disseminated to one of the largest opt-in audiences available today. How? We at SmallCapVoice.com believe in aligning and affiliating ourselves with other leaders within the investor relations community. By sharing resources, each affiliated firm is made that much stronger and each client is served that much better. Our focus is to identify and provide the very best financial services and solutions available to clients and their shareholders. For more information about our services, please call us at 512-267-2430 or visit us on the web at www.smallcapvoice.com. This is a broadcast of SmallCapVoice.com, a financial communications and investor relations firm. SmallCapVoice.com receives payment for investor relations and financial consulting services that it provides to its clients. You should assume that officers, directors, and employees of SmallCapVoice.com or financial analysts mentioned and their families hold a position and intend to trade in these securities for their own accounts. This is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell securities. Information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be, nor should it be construed as, investment advice. As in all investments, an investment in the featured company carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with a registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This broadcast does not purport to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from the featured company and other sources but not verified nor guaranteed by SmallCapVoice.com as to completeness or accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice.